There is no denying the fact that recovery is needed for long-term muscle growth, sustainability in training, and overall wellness. Recovery helps your muscles heal and grow. It restores your energy levels. It makes you stronger. There's so many incredible benefits to recovery. And I literally was just in a class earlier this week, and some girl was like, "Oh, this is my second class today. I don't know if I can go that heavy." And I said, "What? What are you doing? Why are you doing 2 classes a day?" It is completely unnecessary, especially when you go to classes, because most of the time they are full body training. And so you're doing 2 full body strength and conditioning classes a day. Like, it is crazy. You are doing your body so much more harm than good when you're doing those 2 a days or when you're doing back to back training, because you're not letting your muscles have the ample time to actually recover and grow. So I guess, what are your goals? To be strong as fuck? Well, don't do 2 a days. The key is finding ways to incorporate recovery into your lifestyle that makes sense to you. Now, a lot of people think all the time that they have to work out every single day, but it's actually not the case. And I'm going to share with you the fact that I was working out 6 to 7 times a week, and now I work out 3 to 4, more 4, I would say. And it's specific strength training. I make sure I have enough recovery, and I make sure I'm really challenging myself in my actual workouts. But there are 2 really main types of recovery. There's short-term, more active recovery, and there is long-term recovery. And really, the main difference between those 2 types is the length of recovery time. You're going to hear from me as a coach and as a client that you need at least 24 hours of recovery, typically around 48 hours of recovery time in between sessions that you're working the same muscle group. Now, for instance, that after a hard workout in the morning, you're going to want some active recovery afterwards to help your body recover in that specific moment. So let's say you work out 5 days and you have 2 days of recovery every single week. Now, if you are someone that likes a 5 day split, totally fine. I typically say you want to recover on Thursdays and Sundays. That way you won't have any more than 3 days in a row of movement. And the goal with active recovery is to increase blood circulation to help your muscles recover post-workout. And that fresh blood flow, it helps the muscles repair and rebuild from those torn tissues, which is what helps muscle grow back stronger than before. And these active recovery activities can literally just be enough to slightly raise the heart rate above resting. And everyone's resting heart rate is different. But for me, that can just be walking, dancing, cleaning your house, light swimming, mobility. An active recovery is not a workout. I'm going to say this again. Active recovery is not a workout. I mean, unless you're walking like several miles at like a very fast pace, or you're an Olympic athlete that's walking 6-minute miles. How crazy was that? Long-term recovery includes rest periods that are built into seasonal training. So this is seen mostly with athletes or anyone training for specific events and competitions, such as like a marathon or a powerlifting meet. For example, I had my powerlifting meet April 1st, I believe, and I actually took a couple weeks to just completely recover. And I felt so much stronger actually going into my lifts, and so much more energized, and my body was just like ready to get moving again. It could be days or it could be weeks of recovery, and it's really just supportive to you and your scheduled training session. Now, if you are someone that is gone for a couple weeks for vacation, that's a perfect time to just do some active recovery. It's like an added time in your world where you can literally just do nothing. And remember from past episodes, your body is not going to lose the muscles and the gains that you've put on in a week, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, even if you take it off. Your body does remember, and there has been science that has proven that is a absolute fact. So don't think just because you're taking off a week or 2 or 3 that you're going to lose everything, because obviously those muscles didn't get there in a week or 2 or 3, did they? Now, as I mentioned in the beginning, it's all about finding what type of recovery will fit best for you, your lifestyle, and your training program. And most of you listening are probably just needing the short-term active recovery. So let's really discuss what can that look like from a total holistic point of view, and not just like recovery outside of workouts. And so first, let's talk about nutrition. This is important all the time, but especially if you're trying to help your body recover. Now, this means eating enough and eating what your body needs. Still enjoy your sweet treat and make sure you're eating enough protein, fruits and veggies, and some solid full meals. Something I always lump in with nutrition, especially when we're talking about recovery, is creatine because you can mix it in smoothies or shake your yogurt, overnight oats. You can literally just take it straight up with water. But if you're not familiar with creatine, make sure to listen to episode 23, where I do a really deep dive into what it is, why you need it as an athlete, and how your body actually uses creatine. But for the sake of this episode on recovery, when you exercise, basically you're creating micro tears in your muscle fibers. And as you recover, those micro tears in your muscle fibers heal, and then your muscles get stronger. Now, creatine actually helps activate satellite cells in your muscles, which help the micro tears heal. So, taking creatine consistently is a really great way to support your recovery. And if you use the code TARATALK to save 20% off your first Legion order, and I've been using Legion for several years now, I use their creatine and their protein powder, you can get 20% off your first order and cash back afterwards. Now, the next part of nutrition I would put under this category is hydration. Making sure that your body is hydrated is important all the time, but especially when you're recovering. Beyond drinking lots of water, yes, this is important. It's also just helpful to maybe add an electrolyte here or there for an extra boost. Brands like Liquid IV, LMNT, Transparent Labs are really great. You can also just sprinkle a little salt in your water. That's what a lot of those are. And that could be really great for you as well. Coconut water is something that I've been actually adding back in after some hard workouts. That's helped me a lot. Coconut water, watermelon juice, or smoothies, juices, they're really great way to bump up the hydration, especially after a tough workout or a really hot day. Now, I'm sure you've heard people talk about contrast therapy a lot in the past. It got really big probably a few years ago at this point, but it's basically hot and cold exposure. This can be a really great recovery activity, whether you do sauna, cold plunge, or a mix of both. You're increasing blood circulation and reducing inflammation in the body. This promotes muscle healing and growth while also helping clear out any lactic acid buildup that could lead to muscle soreness and any fatigue. And nowadays, a lot of gyms have a sauna or a cold plunge setup that you can use right after your workout. Shout out on it. Use it all the time. Well, I'll be honest, I haven't used the sauna much this summer because it's been so hot in Austin, but cold plunge it is. And sometimes I'll just go in and do the sauna and cold plunge on my rest days as well. You can do that contrast therapy where you go sauna, cold plunge. Another really great piece of recovery is some body work and massage. It can be really great for relaxing the body, working out tight muscles, and once again, clearing any lactic acid buildup. I lived in Denver for most of my life before moving out to Austin, and I had a whole bodywork team. We did a trade with my gym, and I had a massage therapist, a chiropractor, an acupuncture, cupper. Like I did it all, and I am very sad I don't have that here in Austin yet. So if you're any of those things, I would happy to have a trade with you. But you can get a regular massage, you can get a deep tissue massage, or see a sports massage therapist. Any sort of those can be really great for recovery. You can also do variations of body work at home by using tools like a foam roller, like the trigger point cane, a lumbar pillow. I have something that I can walk my feet on. It's like this really cool thing for the bottom of my feet. You can also use a tennis ball and roll out your feet on them. But basically anything that will help you work on your muscle joints and overall body for some relief and recovery in between sessions is great. And in a similar lane to body work is stretching and mobility. You know that I am a huge fan of mobility training. Stretching is really great for general relaxation as it will lengthen out your muscles so they're not feeling all bunched up and tense. And then mobility utilizes stretching of the muscles and strength, so it's a great way to actively recover. Remember, mobility is increasing our end range of motion within our joints. So I suggest putting on a few of your favorite songs, finding a video to follow along with. I have some of my own in the mobility podcast. I also have a free mobility downloadable PDF. And I typically add in stretching and mobility in all of my clients' workouts because it is just as important as the work that you put in the gym. And last but not least, sleep. This is literally the prime time for your body to recover. The key is making sure that you get enough sleep and sleeping well. I did an entire podcast all about sleep and how to have a better evening routine and have better sleep. So make sure you go check that one out. But so many people are either not getting enough sleep or their sleep quality is horrible. You know your body best, but generally aiming for at least 7 to 9 hours a night and knowing sometimes you might need a little bit more sleep during heavy training sessions. That's totally normal. For sleep quality, making sure your system's ready to rest and enter deep sleep is so important. Again, that podcast that I recorded is episode 46. You can listen for a deep dive. And a few tips to help you get started with sleep. If you haven't listened to that podcast just yet, no phone or no TV in the bedroom. Create a really solid evening routine and using an eye mask or making your bedroom super dark. And if you can dial in your sleep, your recovery will be so much easier. It's especially interesting to see the whole impact on sleep recovery if you have any sort of tracker like a Whoop or an Oura Ring. I personally don't have any of those, and I hate wearing my Apple Watch to sleep. So I don't have any trackers like that, but I feel like I wake up pretty rested. All in all, recovery is essential. It is essential to find what works best for you and commit to it. As with everything that I put on my podcast and social media and my clients, it has to work for you, not against you. So please make sure that you find some recovery that works best for you and that you are going to commit to and stick with, because the whole point of anything in your health and wellness journey is to do it consistently and sustainably. If you feel super overwhelmed with where to start, I say pick 1 to 2 things from that list that I just gave you and go from there. Maybe start with creatine and sleep. That's probably where I would suggest starting with first. And again, go listen to that podcast all about creatine and sleep deep dive episodes, and grab your creatine from Legion. Save money with code TARATALK. Also, if you liked this episode or loved any other episodes, please rate and review this podcast. It means the world to us as a podcast, and it helps us grow and continue to give you free information. As always, when you share this out, tag at the Tara Talk and at Tara LaFerrara. Thank you so much for listening, and I cannot wait to chat with you soon.